Hey, I'm Brian Oakley with LS Tractor. I'm the in-house service manager here at Battleboro. And today we're going to be going over the MT1 series. This is the MT125, which is going to be the same for the MT122. And we're going to be covering the daily maintenance items for this tractor. So we're going to start off in the engine bay. So the first thing we need to do is open the hood. So on the driver's side, we're going to find our hood release. We're just going to push that. You'll hear it release, and then you can raise the hood. So we're going to start by checking our coolant level. So we're going to look at our reservoir here. Coolant level should be about halfway up in the reservoir itself. And then we want to check the fuel filter, which is going to be located in this area. It's really hard to get on camera here, but it is down in here. You're going to see a bowl down there with fuel inside of it, and you just want to make sure that that's clear and clean. If there's any sort of contamination, we're going to want to replace that, probably flush out the tank. The next thing we want to look at here is the air filter. All you have to do is remove these two clips, one on top, and then there's one on the bottom, and then this will slide off, exposing our air filter. And then we can pull the filter out and inspect it. So we want to make sure that this is nice and clean. If this is dirty, you can always take it, kind of tap it on the ground. That'll bust some of the extra air loose or the extra debris loose. Or you can also take compressed air. You want to limit it to about 72 psi, and you're going to want to blow from the inside of the filter out. You don't want to blow from the outside of the filter in, because then you're just pushing any type of contamination further down inside the filter. So once you've done that and this is good to go, you can just simply reinstall it and secure your cap and your two clamps, making sure that it's in the correct position. If you look on the housing, it will say top on the housing here, so that always goes up. And then you just lock your clamps in place. So the next thing we want to check is the oil level on our MT1. To do that, we're going to locate the dipstick on the driver's side of the engine. It's yellow and white. We're going to pull that out. Okay, we're going to wipe it clean. We're going to reinstall it. Pull it back out a second time. And then we want to verify that our oil level is inside the cross hatching on the dipstick. As long as we're inside that safe range, we're good to go. We can wipe that clean. We can stick it back in. And the oil level's good. Okay, so we're going to check the oil level in the front axle here of our MT1. In order to do that, we want to make sure that the tractor is on level ground. And then you're going to find a red cap right here on the driver's side axle. You want to unthread that cap. And once you pull it out, you're going to see a dipstick. And there's going to be cross hatching on this dipstick, just like there was on the oil level, okay? On the engine oil level. So we're going to reinstall this. You're going to thread it all the way back down. Pull it back out, and then you want to check and make sure that you're inside that cross hatching. As long as you're in there, you're good to go, and you can reinstall that cap. Okay, while you're here, you want to go ahead and look at your loader mounts. Make sure that all your loader bolts are good and tight. You want to check both sides of those. Look at your front wheels. Make sure your tires isn't damaged or low. You should be at 22 psi on the front tires, 20 psi on the rear tires. And you also want to look at the bolts that are securing the wheel to the tractor. Make sure they're good and tight. If you see any rust trails coming down off of those, it's a good indication you might have one loose. So make sure those are good and tight. The next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and grease your loader. So find your grease points on all of your pins. Grease those up nice and good, and refer back to your owner's manual for more information. Okay, so the next thing we want to look here is we want to check our brake pedal for the proper amount of free play. So basically what we want to do is just manually depress this by hand until we feel resistance, and then we're going to want to measure the travel. Basically 1 to 2 inches. Anything over 2 inches is excessive. So make sure you have 1 to 2 inches there, and your free play is good. That way it keeps us from dragging brakes or causing any sort of premature failure. Then you're going to climb into the driver's seat here. You're going to want to check your lights for proper operation, your turn signal, your headlights, your hazards. and all your other switches for proper operation. So at the rear of the tractor, you're also going to find your transmission oil level, and that's also going to be your fill point, so it shares. So what you're going to pull the little red cap. There's going to be a stick in there. You're going to wipe this off. You always want to just wipe it clean the first time, because there could be some vacuum still left inside the housing that will kind of give you a false reading. And you also want to make sure that your loader is in the down position. If your loader is elevated, it's going to give you a false indication on your oil level. So make sure that your loader is in the down position. You're going to stick it back in there, pull it back out, and then check our level, and we want to make sure that we're between the two marks on the dipstick. We check OK. So we can go ahead and reinstall that. So in order to access your battery, you're going to have to remove these 4 thumb screws that are located on this panel here just below the steering wheel. So there's going to be 2 on either side. You pull those out. This panel is then going to slide backwards, and this is going to give you access to your battery here. And you're going to want to check your connections on both your positive and negative terminal. Make sure there's no damage to the wires. Make sure the battery itself isn't harmed in any way. Once you've completed that, you can reinstall this cover and your 4 thumb screws. So from myself and all of us at LS Tractor, we appreciate you watching the video. For more maintenance tips, always refer to your operator's manual for your 50-hour service and on. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.